Hi, I wanted to talk about how the prepared environment affects the classroom. In the Montessori philosophy, the environment itself is considered the third teacher. So it's important to understand that a thoughtfully prepared environment is going to allow the children to explore independently and develop concentration and build their confidence in their abilities. When materials are accessible and orderly and aesthetically inviting, the child is empowered to engage in the purposeful work. The better the environment is prepared, the easier on the teacher and students. For example, the teacher, could be in the middle of a lesson and the child is concentrating. She's working with another child. Can't find the metal inset paper. So that child comes up and interrupts the teacher while she's teaching the lesson. And it could be a child that, has trouble finding work. So the teacher gets up, looks around for the metal inset paper, can't find it. This is just an example of just small things we can do to be sure that the environment is ready to go for the kids every day. The prepared environment, we want to, have it appeal to the children in their sensitive periods. And in the first plane of development, the children are attracted to things that help them with movement, order, language, social interaction. And the Montessori classroom supports by offering, different materials and experiences that align with the child's developmental readiness. So, for instance, the first plane of development, the sensorial and practical life activities for the 0 to 3-year-olds are really going to help, build their senses and their sense of independence and confidence. I've noticed sometimes a child will focus on a particular thing for that day, and they sit and they have the button frame. Well, they finish the button frame. They're done with the button frame forever. I never see them pick it up again. So that's just one of those little, for some reason, they had this period where they really wanted to work on learning the buttoning frame. And observation really is fundamental to preparing the environment. If we don't observe how the classroom is flowing, how the materials are being used, then we wouldn't know what needs to be improved. Sometimes I'll notice that there's materials that aren't being taken off the shelf in practical life. And so we know, that just doesn't interest them for some reason. So we need to replace it with something else that does. You can always put that item back on the shelf later, later in the year. Also, it's important to recognize that a prepared environment, if it's not prepared properly, will influence the learning in the classroom. So if the materials are, too structured, or we don't allow them to explore the materials and we interrupt them, it throws off the balance in the environment. And basically the guide should be supporting the children. And, it goes along with the Montessori triad of the children being at the top and the environment and the teacher being at the bottom of the triangle. So the child is the most important. So basically, in summary, the environment is a whole lot more important than just organizing shelves. It's deliberate. We have to reflect by using observation to understand how the children are moving through the classroom, using the materials. And, understanding the principles of the prepared environment is so important, and it will help us create spaces that foster independence and a lifelong love of learning, hopefully.